London in the 1600s was already home to nearly 500,000 people. Long before the city we know today, it was shaped by ambition, congestion, and global reach. By mid-century, it had outgrown its medieval walls. The city expanded relentlessly along the Thames, driven by trade, migration, and opportunity. What you're seeing now has been reconstructed using AI, historic maps, engravings, and written accounts brought into motion. These are not photographs. They are perspectives no camera could have captured. This was a city suspended between two worlds, medieval in its bones, but modern in its appetite. The timber, the smoke, and the crowded streets, all of it real, all of it lived in. The Thames was not decoration. It was London's primary artery. Before paved roads or railways, the river moved people faster than any street. Boats carried merchants, laborers, goods, and royal authority. Wharves lined both banks. Warehouses crowded the waterfront. The sound of unloading cargo, shouting dockworkers, and creaking masts defined the rhythm of daily life. By this time, the Thames was far more than a waterway. It functioned as highway, marketplace, and corridor of power all at once. If you controlled the river, you controlled London. And if you controlled London, you controlled access to the world. Ships arriving from Europe, Africa, and the Americas passed through this water. The city's rise was inseparable from it. As you step into the streets, the scale changes entirely. Timber-framed houses leaned over narrow lanes. Upper floors jutted outward until neighbors across the street could nearly reach each other from their windows. Open sewers ran down the center of roads. Smoke from thousands of hearths hung constantly in the air. This was not picturesque. It was loud, dense, and often dangerous. The City of London, the medieval core, remained the commercial heart. Guilds governed trades. Markets like Cheapside anchored daily commerce. Outside the walls, suburbs like Southwark and Whitechapel swelled with migrants seeking work. Opportunity and risk existed side by side. But people came anyway. London was magnetic in ways that overcame its filth. No structure defined London more than Old London Bridge. Built in the late 12th century, by the 1600s, it had evolved into something extraordinary. It was not simply a crossing. It was a fully inhabited street suspended above the Thames. Houses, shops, warehouses, and chapels lined both sides. Generations lived and died above the water. The bridge functioned as neighborhood, marketplace, and bottleneck all at once. Its narrow stone arches restricted the river's flow. Water surged violently beneath. Passing through by boat was so dangerous that many boatmen avoided it entirely, carrying passengers around on land instead. The bridge also served as a symbol of authority. Heads of executed traitors were once displayed on its gatehouse, a reminder that power in London was always visible. Despite fires, congestion, and constant danger, the bridge endured because the city could not function without it. By the 17th century, London was deeply embedded in global trade networks. The Pool of London, the stretch of river just east of the bridge, functioned as the city's economic engine. Ships arrived carrying spices, sugar, tobacco, timber, and cloth from across Europe and the Atlantic world. This was not abstract commerce. It was visible, loud, and constant. Dockworkers unloaded cargo at all hours. Merchants negotiated deals in taverns and coffee houses near the wharves. London connected rural England to urban markets, England to Europe, and Europe to the colonies. The river made that possible. Without it, none of this scale would have existed. London's growth came at a cost. The city was dangerously vulnerable. In unusually cold winters, the restricted flow beneath London Bridge contributed to the Thames freezing solid. During these rare moments, Londoners held frost fairs directly on the ice. Stalls, games, even printing presses set up on frozen water. Then came September 1666. A fire ignited in a bakery on Pudding Lane. Within hours, it spread through streets built almost entirely of timber. Narrow lanes. London's growth came at a cost. The city was dangerously vulnerable. Old St. Paul's Cathedral was consumed. Tens of thousands were left homeless. But the fire also became a turning point. It cleared centuries of overcrowded construction and forced the city to rebuild, this time in brick and stone. Westminster was the ceremonial and political heart of England. The Palace of Westminster housed Parliament and courts of law. Westminster Hall symbolized royal authority and justice. Westminster Abbey served as the spiritual core of the nation, where kings were crowned and buried. Across the river stood Whitehall Palace, the largest royal residence in England. It stretched along the Thames and functioned as the administrative center of royal government. Kings arrived by boat at its river steps, reinforcing the Thames as a corridor of power. But the 1600s were not stable. Religious divisions deepened. Tensions between monarchy and parliament escalated. Within decades, these tensions would erupt into civil war. In this era, London was not just a city. It was a battleground of ideas. Power in London was always performed. Cheapside, one of the city's widest streets, served as the stage for royal processions and public pageantry. Crowds gathered to watch monarchs pass. Banners hung from windows. Bells rang from church towers. These displays were not simply celebrations. They were assertions of authority in a city where control was never guaranteed. By mid-century, religious and political unrest grew louder. Protestantism clashed with Catholicism. Royalists faced off against parliamentarians. Public life carried an undercurrent of tension. London's streets were crowded not just with commerce, but with competing visions of England's future. While central London grew increasingly dense, royal and aristocratic life extended outward. Buckingham House began as a private townhouse on the city's western fringe, surrounded by gardens and open land. Richmond Palace offered monarchs cleaner air and distance from urban congestion. These spaces remind us that London in the 1600s still had clear boundaries. Beyond the dense core lay fields, villages, and countryside, limits that would soon vanish as the city expanded. The contrast was stark. Within the walls, noise, smoke, survival. Beyond them, quiet space, control. The tension building throughout the century finally broke. The English Civil War turned London into an ideological battleground. Monarchy versus parliament. Tradition versus reform. Faith versus faith. Streets that once hosted royal processions now saw soldiers and protests. Fortifications appeared around the city. Trust eroded. Yet through it all, London endured. Commerce continued. The Thames still flowed. Daily life adapted around crisis. This was not a city frozen in conflict. It was a city learning to survive through it, transforming even as it fractured. Much of the London you've seen here no longer exists. Old London Bridge was demolished in the 1830s. Whitehall Palace burned in 1698. The Great Fire erased entire neighborhoods. Streets were widened. Timber gave way to stone. But not everything vanished. Westminster still governs. The Thames still moves commerce and people. Streets like Cheapside remain, though widened and rebuilt. The institutions born in this era, Parliament, guilds, markets, shaped the modern city. The 1600s didn't just precede modern London. They created the conditions that made it possible. There's something strange about looking at a city that no longer exists, but feels so close. The same river, the same approximate streets. Different faces, different lives, but recognizable patterns of work, movement, and survival. AI reconstruction lets us glimpse these moments, but it cannot replace standing on those cobblestones or hearing those voices. It can only open a window. London at the start of the modern world was unfinished, contested, and constantly adapting. In many ways, it still is. If this version of London stayed with you, I'd like to know which other city, or which other century, you'd want to see reconstructed next. Leave it in the comments. I'll read them.